We've got emails that are coming in. We've got voicemails that are coming in. We've got people dropping by our cube, dropping by our office that want to talk. And each one of these things is a mini distraction. Each one of these things is a mini interruption, something that takes us away from what we were doing, something that breaks our focus and kind of pushes us back. This is what happens when we do this all day long. We can be at work all day long and still have work to take home, right? At the end of the day. Oh, yeah. Because we think, wow, he's really close, isn't he? We think that all of these other things are really important, but at the end of the day, we end up taking work home that we should have and could have done at work if we had been, what? Focused. So what happens? I'll tell you, when I was a younger man working in a Fortune 100 company, when I first started working there, guess what? I was just dutiful. I'd bring home my laptop. This is when laptops were like 20 pounds, you know, the heavy ones back in the day. And this is only in the 90s, but they were still a lot heavier than they are today, right? So I'd take my work home, and for the first couple months, I would take the laptop out and I'd bang something out, and I'd work, and I'd see my wife, new babies there. We're doing all the good stuff. After about 3 months of that, what did I do? I brought the laptop home, but then it stayed in the bag, right? Now I'm guilty for not doing the work at home because I need to spend time with my family, because I wasn't spending my 8 hours well enough that I didn't have to bring it home. But now I got the extra guilt, and I've got to bring this bag back, and I'm not getting anything done. And over time, this just goes into a cycle, and we end up with task lists that grow but don't shrink. Anybody ever suffer from task list creep, where it just keeps getting longer and longer and longer? I want to help you with that today, okay? So just stay with me, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And what this ends up doing is ends up leading us to a place where we're just overwhelmed, frustrated, and just almost on the verge of burnout. And it's actually called overload syndrome. Believe it or not, there's overload syndrome, and that's what we end up looking like.
I think I've seen a couple of people in the soul.
Yeah. I can imagine. You're like almost a deer in headlights. You're just kind of, you're overloaded. And this overload syndrome, it plays out in anxiety, sometimes resenting your job, sometimes depression, sometimes even hostility. And the funny thing is, who are we most hostile with? Usually not the people we're civil here with. It's usually, the people at home catch the brunt end of our being overloaded. So why do we stay this way? Why? Because there's 17 ways to become overloaded. And I'm going to deal with just a few of them briefly. And it's a lot of our modern society, our modern culture leads us to a state where we're constantly at a frenetic pace. And the funny thing is, you can run the car at 150 miles an hour only so long. Even if anybody in here like NASCAR, no. Formula One racing. Okay, bike race, any racing, let me just walk with you there. Come with me that far. Any racing, they'll run the bike, they'll run the car for a certain amount of time, and then they have to do what? Pit stop. Pit stop. It's not just fuel. They're changing tires. They're giving them something to drink. The driver, he or she, they're actually putting more oil in. They're just taking the whole car and making sure it can do another few laps. And the funny thing is, we don't do that for us. We think we can just keep running flat out, and eventually it always catches up to us.